Howdy, folks. High Value DMD. Don't just give me a subscription, but please let me earn it. Let me earn your like and let me earn that comment. Today, I'm going to be talking about networking, getting a job, and really how to achieve success. And some of you may be wondering, why the heck am I going to listen to this guy wearing a mask on camera? Well, I'm going to tell you my credentials, and you can do with it with what you will. I have a biology degree from my undergrad. I have a master's degree, a master's of medical science. I have a doctorate degree in a doctorate of dental medicine. I am a dentist by trade. And I have been accepted to and will be training in oral and maxillofacial surgery, which is a subspecialty of dentistry and really of medicine as well. It took a long time to get to where I'm at today. It took a lot of hours of study, a lot of cold calling, making contacts, building relationships to get letters of recommendation. It took a lot of touring dental schools and just getting my face out there in general. And it took a lot of rejection to get where I'm at today. And so this video is going to be a general idea about this path. And it doesn't have to be about healthcare, but if you're watching this, you can apply it to business, you can apply it to law, you can all these different spaces. The first piece of advice I would give to my brother, if he was sitting in front of me, I don't have a younger brother, but it would be to acknowledge, say out loud, and understand that you are a loser. You are the bottom of the totem pole. Okay. Now that initially isn't very confidence inspiring, is it? But in a way, if you understand how things work, you are young, you're fresh out there, probably no one knows you very well. Okay, you're nobody. Okay, you're right here. You got to get to up here. It's going to take some time and it's going to take some effort. You got to humble yourself, understand your position, and come at every scenario with that humble attitude. If you're a young man watching this, something that is going to greatly inspire you, in addition to understanding you're a loser, is understanding that you're never going to get a woman in your life if you are a loser. If you're a guy with no confidence, no plan, no actualization of a plan, no woman is going to want you. You're going to be single for the rest of your days. And so there is nothing else that would propel a man forward than to understand that and to let that help him actualize his plan. And so with that, you need to understand, I'll say my third point. You need to understand what is available to you at the current moment. What resources are available to you? Who is in your circle of influence? I'll use myself as an example. My family, we're not rich people. We come from a hardworking background. My grandfather was a construction worker, home builder, custom home builder, and my father was the same. And a lot of our community in my small town knows my family because of that. I can still go around town to this day and introduce myself. People will know my last name. And so with that comes a lot of people knowing who I am. There's a lot of contacts already built in, so to speak. So someone in my sphere of influence was a senator of my state. And I know that person, and I developed that relationship on my own for years to come. And my relationship only got stronger as I was pursuing something similar to him. And I actually have a great interest in politics, and I have other interests in my career is similar to his in a way. I'll just leave it at that. And so I fostered that relationship that was sort of already there, and I got letters of recommendation from this individual that obviously that looks incredible. Someone who was a former state senator. So there's that. As you go through school, you're going to meet people in high school, in college, that are going to have parents that have achieved some level of success. You want to surround yourself with these people, with these winners, so to speak. And I have a story about that I'll share with you in just a moment. But I know someone in a roundabout way who is a judge. That is another person that I had write me letters of recommendation. That's another person with credentials, with a stamp of success by their community, giving me a stamp of success to move to the next place I want to go. So I developed that relationship. But I've also developed relationships completely cold, completely on my own, no existing relationship, no help in that matter. And this is arguably the hardest thing to do. And this is where you have to really channel and dig deep and find that level of success or that confidence. And and folks, I've done a lot of faking of it. I wasn't I take a lot of hardworking spirit from my father, but there's days where I don't feel like anything. I feel terrible about myself, at least early on in my journey. And I had to get up every day and just try to make something happen out of nothing. Okay. And a lot of times, all that means is showing up, showing your face, and being confident. And so, one story I'll share with you is there was a very well known dentist in the big city down the road. Very well known by the dental schools around me. And he had traveled internationally, worked with a dental implant company. He was a big deal, okay? A big deal. And so I heard about this from my boss at the time I was working in a dental office. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm having some trouble getting to where I want to go, which is to be a dentist. I need to surround myself with the most successful people. Again, and this took just cold calling. So I called the office, and a lot of dental offices are very kind. They want to provide opportunities in education to young people to get exposure to dentistry. So I go over there. I drive an hour to the city. I do this 3, 4, some odd times, and I go over there and I shadow him. The first time, he just wants to talk to me to see who I am. I don't even get to be around his patients, and this is probably because his reputation, his practice is so high end. He doesn't want some weird kid coming in there who is addicted to marijuana or a drunk and just is unprofessional to be around his patients. So the first time I drive an hour each way just to have a conversation with him at the end of his workday. And then he allows me to shadow him. In that little interview, so to speak, and keep in mind he was on faculty at the dental school, and he did dental interviews. So in a way, this was like an interview. Okay, if a hyper successful person is going to let you in their sphere, they need to vet you. And so I think that's what happened. He said, "Why do you want to come over here and shadow me?" I said, "Well, sir, to be honest, my boss so and so told me about you, and this is where I'm trying to go. And in order to do that, I want to be surrounded by the most successful people, or successful people that have achieved what I want to do." And if you're a young man watching this, if you're a Gen Z, whatever, Gen Alpha, whatever you are, the older generation, the people that have made all the money, the people with all the influence, they see us young people as extremely lazy. That's just the reality of it. You have to understand what you're dealing with. They have this notion and perception of you that you are an extremely lazy individual. Okay? But you can use this to your advantage, because if you walk in a room or if you go to meet somebody and you give somebody a firm handshake, not any of this wimpy beta male nonsense, okay? But if you look a man straight in the eyes, you give them a handshake and you say, "Hello, I'm so and so, and I am ready to work." Or, "Hello, I'm so and so. This is where I went to school, and I'm very, very interested in your company because X, Y, and Z. Is there a time that we could take 5 minutes to talk this week, or could we spend 20 minutes over coffee this week in order to discuss my future, or how you maybe could mentor me? If you come at somebody with that level of energy, and you have something to back it up, and you can say, I did this XYZ, I've been here, and this is where I'm going. Give like an elevator speech, so to speak. Okay, say where you've been, where you are now, where you're going, and you can articulate that and communicate that. I promise you, the people that are in positions of power will want to move mountains to help you. Okay, but you're gonna have to earn it. They're not just gonna give you something on a silver platter. Okay, you are going to have to earn it because they have had to earn it. All right, but they admire the hustle and the spirit, and this guy did and saw that in me. What do you know? I go over there and I'm asking questions. I'm trying to learn. He writes me a letter of recommendation. Okay. That didn't end up getting me into dental school. I ended up having to go get further education and go through the ringer. Okay. I really went through the ringer to get where I am. But that is an example that you can use. And I know I have a friend in law, and I've heard that the law field, it is so much of that. It is so much of buttering up and where you went to school and your GPA. Okay, and really the whole world is like that. To get a job nowadays, you need to have some sort of connection. Okay, but you're going to be going to job fairs, you're going to be going to interviews, you're going to be going to social events, and and you got to have this energy with you. Okay, another point that I want to add is that when you are going about trying to build contacts, trying to have rapport with people, and that's something in my line of work that you have to have as a dentist. Okay, nobody's going to want to fool with you and come to your office. Nobody's going to want to refer patients to me and trust their patients in my care as a surgeon if I can't communicate, if I'm not funny, if I'm not interesting. Nobody wants to work with a weirdo, let's be honest. And so, something that I'm kind of weird about, I guess, not everybody is like this, everyone has their own way, but I like to learn a lot of things. I like to learn random things about the world, about history, about politics. So there is not a single person in this world that could sit down in my chair that I would not be able to connect to in some way, shape, or form. Okay, I know a lot of stuff. I know a lot of stuff about religion, Mormonism. I went through a whole journey researching that. I'm a Christian, by the way, but so I'm interested in religion. I know about Islam. I know a little bit about like Baha'i. There's a faith called Baha'i. It's a minority religion over in Israel. I know a little bit about Judaism, not a ton, okay, but I know enough to connect to people. I know about history. I can sit here and talk about different conflicts, or I can talk about obscure facts that I've learned in history, and I have quite the interest in the Spanish language. I know a fair bit about that. I've been able to communicate with patients in Spanish, and build rapport that way. I mean, nothing else would show a level of intelligence or a level of interest than using another person's language. Through college, I studied Spanish literature. I actually had the opportunity to travel abroad to Spain, and that was a very formative experience for me. I learned all about that country and the fascist dictatorship under Francisco Franco, which that's a very unique thing. So I'm going on and on to say that you need to be interesting, okay? And not everybody needs to be a nerd like me researching all these things, okay? But you need to at least be literate. Not everybody needs to know this nitty-gritty, but you need to know just like basic things about the world, okay? You need to know some basic history because that shapes of where we are today. I don't know how anybody can have a conversation with people if they just don't understand some basics about politics and religion and history, okay? And I've got friends that they've got passions like hunting. I love hunting too, okay? But they've done it a bunch, so they can talk about those things, all right? So like having other hobbies such as hunting or lifting weights or hiking or traveling. Look, bottom line is you gotta be able to be interesting and talk to people, okay? And relate to people. Nobody's going to want to hire you. Nobody's going to want to waste their time on you if all you know is video games and Fortnite. Let's be honest, okay? If you're going to go network, a lot of networking takes place on the golf course. So can you at least drive a ball? Can you putt a ball into the hole type of thing? Can you keep up? All right. So these are things that medical sales reps, that's part of like their resume to get hired at jobs is like they look at their social skills. They look at if they can golf, if they can go take a customer over to Top Golf and entertain them. Do you drink or do you know something about alcohol? Okay, like can you appreciate different beer or wine, or maybe your faith doesn't entail you to engage in that, but you need to at least be like a sociable, aware person of things, okay? Because I see through people all the time that are just freaking weird. They can't talk for anything, and they may be super smart. They may be the best dentist that I have ever met, but am I really going to want to work with that person? Okay, so that is something just to consider and keep in mind. Okay, and geez, I've gone on a lot of different points, but in closing, I think the biggest thing as far as networking and getting good employment is simply to never give up. Let's be honest. Like my journey, and at some point I will make a video in detail about my journey, but it is the hardest thing, and I have lived a short life, okay? But it is the hardest thing I've ever done is to get into dental school and to become a dentist successfully. I can't tell you how many nights that I spent staying up late to study, getting up early to study. All the money, time, and resources I put into this, all in like not fully knowing if it's going to pay off. Okay? But to me there was no other option, okay? There was no other option but to win. And so I kept on, and I just would not let go. And you have to just relentlessly pursue what you want to do. And you have to get in front of so many people and tell those people time and time again, tell them what you're doing, where you're trying to go. And eventually the path is going to open up for you. Okay? The path that you envisioned originally, and let me tell you, I had a path that I first thought I was going to do. That path is completely different from what I'm doing now. Okay? But arguably, the path I'm on now is actually way better. And it's leading me down the road to become a freaking surgeon. Okay? And I come from a blue collar family. That is a big stinking deal. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. It's just the reality of it. And that is where I'm going. And so, and that's because I just kept on and I did never quit. And I kept showing up and trying to tell people about my dream and where I want to go. So that would be my parting advice to you. And so I hope that this video was helpful to you. I hope I earned your subscription. I hope I earned your like, and I hope I earned your comment. Let me know what you think below. Are you currently trying to apply for a job? Are you trying to network? Let me know where you are at in your journey. Until next time.